be the assassination attempt against former U.S. President Donald Trump. While leaders have condemned political violence after U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump was wounded in a Pennsylvania rally shooting, former U.S. President and Republican candidate was shot in his right ear and swiftly escorted off the stage by the Secret Service with blood streaming down his face. The alleged assassination attempt left one bystander dead and two spectators critically injured. Leaders across the globe have now expressed their support for those affected and emphasized the need to reject violence in politics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed his deep concern and condemned the incident, while saying that violence has no space in politics and democracy. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Israeli Prime Minister, they have all denounced the abhorrent attack on Donald Trump and expressed concern over the incident. We will shortly put out the statements that were made by several of the global leaders. But what really will be the ultimate impact of this shooting attempt? I take this conversation forward. I have with me Ambassador Anil Trigunyad with us on the broadcast. We have with us Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. I also have with me Sumit Peer and Pathikrit Payne joining us on the broadcast. Let me begin with Ambassador Trigunyad. Ambassador Trigunyad, we are expecting the Republicans to formally choose their presidential and vice presidential candidates just tomorrow, the 15th of July. Just a day ahead of that, this assassination attempt takes place against Donald Trump. How are you viewing what the impact of this assassination bid really will be?
Well, at the outset, we all must condemn this kind of political violence. But not only this, in the United States, we are seeing that the general levels of violence has increased because of their own policies and the gun laws that they have. So there are disgruntled people all over who just use the gun we've seen in schools, everywhere else. These kind of incidents are so very frequent. So I think this is a very major challenge for any government that comes to power next in the United States. As far as the chances of President Trump are concerned, we have seen that President Trump has been leading in most of the polls that have come out and is supposed to be confirmed tomorrow by the Republican convention, where he was to pick up most likely the Ohio governor as his running mate. At the same time, I think he's in a good position, and this kind of an incident would perhaps provide some kind of a sympathy factor. But at the same time, I would like to say that the United States politics is pretty divisive by its very nature. Either you are a Republican or you are a Democrat. And that's it. And irrespective, a large number of them vote. If the people don't turn up to vote, that becomes a very difficult situation. But very often, they are driven not by these kind of incidents so much as they are driven basically by their own convictions, whether they prefer Democrats, support Democrats, themselves are Democrats. And those defining lines are very, very, I would say, deep.
Right, absolutely. I'll come to you in just a moment. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, let me bring you into the conversation. How do you view what really has happened in the United States of America? Do you feel that this will somewhere raise the question of gun violence and gun laws in the US? Because we just, I was just going over Joe Biden's Twitter handle, and it was just yesterday that he was speaking about bringing in new laws as far as gun violence is concerned. And he said that Donald Trump, in fact, will never let that happen, that he will continue to support the very strong gun lobby in the United States of America. And just a day after that, this assassination bid, of course, unfortunate attempt takes place. Do you think that this will raise the question of gun violence in America, or do you feel that this will continue to only be a political conversation about whether Donald Trump is going to be emerging as the hero after this event?
Thank you, Devika. What you're saying, I would personally say that yes, there is a need for gun control in America, because this gun culture has really gone too far. We've seen all of it in schools and malls, anywhere and everywhere. I think sometimes primarily because obviously the society is highly polarized, and you find these kind of lone wolf, anybody with, who's not mentally, I would say, stable to be indulging in this kind of, and it's been on for a long, long time. I'm glad that ex-President Trump is fighting fit, and at least with his pumped fist, bloody face, he sounded and looked very cheerful. It gives an impression the world over, everyone, including our prime ministers, wished him the very best and good wishes that he gets well soon. And I'm sure there is no denying the fact. Everybody has condemned. He himself has stated in no uncertain terms that nobody should give any statement which goes against this thing, and everybody should unanimously condemn this political violence. This gun culture must be condemned, and I think even President Biden has gone all out. They have also pulled out all advertisements for the day, at least, not to show any political rivalry. I think that's a very good step, and definitely, Devika, this kind of gun culture is doing wrong. Is harming the society. The society is presently in America is highly polarized. We know what's going on there. And this particular 20-year-old boy by the name Thomas Crook turned out to be a crook, because you could well see that a lone wolf and just about 130 yards. There's so much of information available, so much of intelligence there, the Secret Service there. Despite that, you could find that he has gone in there. But then, thank God, he was shot dead. But then it would take time for us to know as to what led him to come so close and be able to attempt killing the ex-president. I think it's very essential, very, very essential in America, and not just in America, the world over, because this gun culture is absolutely bad. Anybody and everybody, populations are booming, people are frustrated, there aren't jobs for everybody. So everybody seems to think the least that they can do is, well, let's harm somebody else. And the social media, the kind of movie culture and all kinds of things. I don't think the mental stability of people, stressed society, polarized society, there must be gun control, and this free. I think President Biden was absolutely right. And I'm sure now Mr. Trump will also accept that this is something which must be controlled, not just in America, first in America, and but otherwise you have all these ISIS and all these kinds of radicalized bodies moving all over the world, and this gun toting, I think, must stop forthwith, and nobody should be having a weapon until he is authorized to hold one. A man in uniform or security services, no civilian should hold a weapon. That's what my stake would be on this.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. Let me bring in Pathikrit into the conversation as well. Pardon me. Pathikrit, same question to you. I just want to understand from you, what do you think really will be the major focus after this particular assassination bid has now taken place? Because like I said, as far as timelines are concerned, Pathikrit, it's very interesting. On the one hand, you have the Democrats that are losing favor as far as Joe Biden's bid to run for president is concerned. He's facing the heat and the pressure on a daily basis. Several people raising concerns over his age and his ability to really take the Democrats forward. And then this assassination attempt takes place just a day before the Republicans are slated to officially choose who their presidential and vice presidential candidates will be. How do you view these developments for American politics?
So, Devika, this is unfortunate what happened, but it's not surprising. One may say that such attempts of assassination or real assassinations happened in the past in US as well. They can turn back and say it happened in other countries like India as well. But if you look at what happened recently, or I would rather say today, it's symptomatic of the society that US is today. So I am not surprised. It's sad, but I'm not surprised because they have propagated this culture of violence everywhere. There is not a single war since Second World War. There's not a single major war in which US was not involved. So you keep on telling to the rest of the world that, I'm going to fight for the sake of democracy, and then you can go and do genocides. So you're justifying violence, and it's very difficult then to tell your own society that, okay, violence in rest of the place is fine, but in your own country, don't do violence. So that's not going to happen. So US, what happened today or what has been happening is very much symptomatic of what they have created, the gun culture. Whether it is their Hollywood, whether it is their actions all across the world, whether it is their military-industrial complex for their own benefit, they triggered geopolitical issues, conflicts, disputes, or whether, this whole Second Amendment to the US Constitution. The other important thing is that today you have United States, which says that we are the most developed country in the world. We are the benchmark which the rest of the world should follow. And here is the benchmark. You have a president who, God knows what he thinks, what he does, where he waves hand, with whom he shakes hand. It is a different world in which he lives. I respect him for his age. But if this is how the country is being run, then it means that he is just a president for the sake of it. Somebody else from the shadow is running the country. And they exactly need a person like him and nobody else. And then you have a presidential candidate, a former president who is shot at openly with an assault rifle, roaming around, and the Secret Service and the Pentagon had no clue about it. I mean, are we to believe that? It's not a small arm, it's a rifle with which he was shot at. And people were saying that, okay, so there is a guy going around. And why do you shoot him to death? You could have actually find out what was behind it. Did anybody try to, just wound him so that he can be arrested, so that it can be investigated? No. Just shoot him dead so that it doesn't come out. So the country is so much deeply polarized. If anybody has been to US recently, I would not say the word civil war, but mentally they are at civil war with each other, and then they give sermons to the rest of the world, especially to India, about how democracy should be. I mean, we have a democracy where with 8 times more number of electorates, and there are smooth transition of power which happens all the time, irrespective of the problems between the two leading parties. But transition of power never happens so badly that as it is in United States. So there are fundamental issues. I think first and foremost, US should introspect about the society that they have created, where kids go to school wearing bulletproof jackets, about the culture that they have created, where families, values, ethics, traditional philosophies have all been delineated. You call your parents birthing people. You live alone with 20 guns. You live alone with 20 dogs. You are entirely consumer oriented, based on narcotics. Watching violent games and easy availability of gun. So whatever you feel like that is not good, you go and do violence. There is no space for debate. It's not something that I'm saying that I'm happy to say this. US might be a declining empire, but it is at the same time a major powerhouse. So chaos over there is not going to be good news to the rest of the world either. So at the same time, if you propagate violence, if you do not try to prevent violence, whether it is in Middle East, whether it is in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, you say, I'm going to give $60 billion more. Every year I'm giving it almost. And what do you expect then? Your society becomes symptomatic of what you propagate. So it's not surprising. Trump invariably will capitalize on it. No doubt about it. And I would not be surprised, and nobody should be surprised. So invariably it's going to come back. Does it mean things are going to get better? I don't think so. But when you say, Mark, my last statement, when you keep on saying that if Trump comes, it's the end of democracy. When Trump comes, it's end of constitution. You keep on putting in illegal immigrants. You have easy access to guns. Illegal immigrants now have right to carry guns. Do you know there are federal judges who have given verdict like that? So you have created a dysfunctional society by telling to the world we are the most developed country. You emulate us. I think we should be very cautious. An assassination attempt is very, very unfortunate. We must condemn. But I would rather say it is symptomatic of the larger evil that is there. And the so-called liberals, whether it is there or other places, including in India, this whole narrative that you project about a particular candidate or an incumbent prime minister or president, that he would end the constitution, that is wrong. If you keep on doing that, the outcome is this.
Okay, Sumit, your perspective and your take on how really this assassination bid is going to change the course of American political history and American politics in the times to come now, because they are, of course, gearing up for a crucial election. And also keeping in mind the fact that in 2020, the Capitol Hill protests that also took place by supporters of Donald Trump, as Pathakrit was also pointing out, that this could very well be the cause of some sort of a civil war in the United States of America, which is what a lot of people were also fearing in the morning as well. That this, of course, gives a big boost to the supporters of Donald Trump to perhaps once again take to the streets. Do you feel that something like that could possibly happen this time around?
Devika ji, thank you very much for having me on your show. when you look at the sequence of events, you correlate it with the geopolitical developments and you correlate it with the local political developments. There's much more than the eye can see. The first and the most important point is Trump got a shot in his right ear. And how much is the difference between the right ear, bullet piercing, and how much is the difference between the skull? Few millimeters. It's only his stars and God's grace who saved him. Else, we'll be talking of Donald Trump dead today. First of all, you sued the guy. Second, you wanted to keep him off the ballot. Third, you played all the tricks of the book that he should not be able to contest. And just before the Republic convention, you tried to kill him. Somebody tried to kill him today, right? Just one day before. And the bullet missed. Let's not be kid ourselves. The bullet missed 1 millimeter on the right side of his ear. He would have been dead by this time. Now, how is it possible that the ex-president, where he has a kind of a dartboard on his back, how you can have a 20-year-old boy go to a rooftop with an assault rifle, take a shot? He's 150 meters away. When he's 150 meters away, that means the special forces can see him. What is the right and duty of the special forces? To wait for him to kill the Trump, possibly, and if he misses, then we'll shoot him. They should have shot him before. If you see a man with an assault rifle aiming at the president, what does the SOP say? You will take him out before asking any questions, or you will wait him to take a shot. When the shot did not hit the target, then you will fire a shot to take him. This doesn't add up. You have seen the guy. And second thing, where does this 20-year-old boy who just graduated from the school 2 years back have the training, use an assault rifle, go 150 meters away, look at the wind velocity, look at so many factors and shoot a bullet which pierces the right ear of the president? It needs a lot of military precision and training. Do you think amateur shooters or those casual shooters, they can do that? Usually we have seen with snappers, they have a person who's guiding them, who tells them what is the wind velocity, thoda daye lo, baye lo, and adjust it, this should, what your throttle should be. There are a lot of things to it. There was nobody with him. And what we see from the videos, there are 7 to 20 bullets fired. Now, with an assault rifle, you cannot fire 20 bullets in a fraction of 3 seconds. In a fraction of 3 seconds, when you have 20 bullets fired, so that means there's more than one assassin. We know one person is gained. Who are the others? Where did the automatic fire come from? How did the person behind the Trump got killed? 2 of them are critically injured. If Trump is living today, it is his own stars and God's grace. Else, they wanted Trump dead by hook and crook. Now, the question is, who within America wants Trump dead? There are a lot of people who want him dead. If you look at the statements he gave after the French elections, a lot of people hate him for that. If you talk of the biggest deportation of immigrants, a lot of immigrants hate him for that. If you talk of that Muslim ban, a lot of Muslim countries in the world hate him for that. If you talk of I will stop Russia-Ukraine conflict in 1 day or 1 week. When Vladimir Putin says, what is your proposal? A lot of the military complex doesn't like him for that. If he says, if I was there, these Hamas would have not dared to attack Israel. So a lot of people in Middle East don't like him. So Trump is a person who is caught in between too many things. And his latest statement when he said that the tyranny of the French election is when the leftists and Islamists got together, 1% Jewish population of the France, according to the Rabbi of the France, is they have told him, kindly leave, go to Israel. It is not safe for you to live in a 90% Christian dominated country because Islamists and leftists have got together. Is there a leader who has spoken more directly on that? Who is the first leader who used the word Islamic terror? Who is the first leader who called the Chinese virus? So Trump has a lot of enemies around, and this is a colossal failure of their intelligence. They should have preempted it. I don't know. I don't believe that this 120-year-old guy went to a rooftop, he took a rifle, and he's trying to kill the president of the United States of America and making an ex-president. It's not shooting ducks. It's not shooting ducks. And is he alone? Who are the people with him? How did he have the information? Why didn't the Secret Services act before?
Right, absolutely.
There's one more important thing. There's a bill, Devikaji, which is in the Senate. One of the senator, Democrats says, "मैं sign नहीं करूँगा." You know what does the bill says? Then the bill has to go to Senate, after Congress, and Congress to the President. It's passed in the Senate. According to that, the illegal immigrants cannot vote in United States of America. And when you have let 17 million people in, hoping that you will get them to vote, why that bill is not passed by the Democrats? What is the problem in that bill? And just before the convention, when you will nominate the president and the vice president, you have tried to take out Trump. Look, 4 American presidents have been killed so far. We know. But I thought from Kennedy and all things have changed. Last letter was a Ronald Reagan. I said a lot of years have passed by. But it looks like there are a lot of people who want Trump dead. And Joe Biden calling and saying, hey, sorry, the bullet missed you. If they're really serious, you should have prevented this attack. You should have been proactive. And, it was unfortunately a situation when we saw Prime Minister Modi stuck on a bridge in Punjab, and we were just 10 kilometers away from Pakistan border. And then Punjab Chief Minister Channi Saab said, Goliya to nahi chali. I was telling you, what the hell, you want the bullets to be fired? Today, yes. A bullet was fired, it just missed him by a millimeter. So they were trying to eliminate him on that day, just one day before the convention. It's not a straightforward thing. You got a 20-year-old boy, bhai, isne sab kuch kiya, he is dead, kahani over. Although there's so many dimensions to the story. What is the intelligence doing? What is the FBI doing? What is their intelligence doing? What is the special services doing? Utmost thing, when you see a man with 150 meters pointing a rifle to the president, what should you do as a snapper? You should take him down before he takes your president down. Why didn't you fire your bullets before? You're waiting for him to die. When he missed the shot, then you take down the guy. That is my allegation. If the bullet missed the target, then you conveniently kill the guy. Why didn't you take him out before? What does the protocol say? These are some questions which are glaring. A lot of people want Trump dead. That is a fact of life. And they don't want him to survive. Gun violence and all, there are issues in the society. I agree with what Patrick said. This society is completely gone bizarre. But having said that, if in the United States of America, the ex-president, protected by special forces, is at the mercy of a 20-year-old boy with an AR-72 rifle, something is goddamn wrong in your society and system. Go and check it before it fails and it spills over. That is what I want to say.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Ambassador Trigunyad as well. Ambassador Trigunyad, what do you make of some of the comments that have been made by Pathikrit and Sumit, and also the fact that do you feel that there will be now maybe a conversation about gun violence in America after what has happened today?
Well, I must compliment my esteemed panelist colleagues for really discussing it threadbare on every single issue that is ailing that society. But as far as the gun laws are concerned, this United States is a country which is run by lobbies. You can do anything and get away with it. And these lobbies are very powerful ones. And gun lobby is one of the most powerful lobbies. And Trump himself has supported it. So as has been mentioned by Sumit, there are umpteen people who causes for this. But hopefully, there's some kind of a sanity will prevail, some kind of restrictions will comply, because every time they take a branch under the Constitution that it provides, there was an amendment in the Constitution to carry the arms as a fundamental right. Now, that is something that needs to be checked. This is not the first incident. The way it has happened, of course, it raises many doubts and questions. But at the same time, there have been, generally in the society, small, innocent children have been just butchered by many of them. Of course, United States has its own policy because its own whole country thrives on the military-industrial complex. And that's why their interventions in different wars is very much there. But Trump, I had always thought that he may be an unconventional leader. Last time when he was the president, he believed more in Twitter than in real analytical things. But at the same time, he was not a warmonger. That was a difference with him. But as far as this gun lobby is concerned, I doubt very much, because they pump in so much money everywhere. It's like the industry that funds your elections, exactly like same way. And it's a very powerful lobby.
Okay, all right. Pathikrit, same question to you as well. What do you make of, as far as the gun lobby and the conversation about gun violence and gun laws in America is concerned? Do you feel that this could possibly push the Republicans, it could possibly take the advantage away from them, because this is exactly what the Democrats have also been talking about. Like I said, Joe Biden has just a few days back spoken about gun violence, and he said that he wants to bring in a federal law to ban guns in the United States of America. But it is Donald Trump who will continue to support the gun lobby. So do you feel that somewhere this could possibly put the Republicans on a back foot, or will the conversation never really be about gun violence in America?
No, Ambassador Trigunyad absolutely made the right statement. I don't think anything will change, because the lobbies are so strong. If you cut down the sale of guns, who would fund the elections? So that is the issue for both the groups. Now, the topic of the entire thing comes back to the whole issue of dysfunctional society. It is not to say that India doesn't have violence, but when you say you are the most developed country, you tell yourself as a benchmark for the rest of the world, then you must do something more than what you are doing. I don't think anything is going to change in United States. And Sumitji is very, very right. There are a lot of people who do not want him to become the next president. And God forbid me for saying this, but this may not be the last attempt. You might see a lot more things being attempted to ensure that he doesn't become the president. Because see, when Dwight Eisenhower created the military-industrial complex, he had warned that this entire complex would do anything for its own survival. They will be very powerful. And as a society, let me tell you this, Devika, as a society, as an economy, they don't like Modi for the same thing, because Modi says this is not the era of war. United Nations doesn't have a dispute resolution mechanism in place. The reason is they cannot dare to do that. They have to convert disputes into conflicts. The military-industrial complex of United States requires one major conflict every 5 years for its own sustenance. And anybody who stops it is an enemy of the state almost. Whether it is an incumbent president or an aspiring president or the prime minister of any other country who says this is not an era of war, who says Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So if you ask me, a country where almost, politically incorrect statement from my side, where a country where almost 60 to 70% people are on prescription drugs and the rest 30% take it from the back streets, a society where there is no connection, there's a lot of disconnect in the families, a society where the value systems are lost. US was a great country at one point of time, but today a lot of introspection is required before.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.